Hi, One Hour Smart Home here, and today we're going to talk about TP-Link versus Wemo and just compare these two types of Wi-Fi light switches so that if you're in the market for a smart light switch, you can understand how these work and the different features of each one of these. So what I've got over here is a Wemo dimmer and a Wemo on-off switch. And over here we've got a TP-Link dimmer and a TP-Link on and off switch. Now, both of these smart switches are Wi-Fi smart light switches. So neither of them require a smart home hub and they connect right to your Wi-Fi network. Once you're connected to your Wi-Fi network, it will allow you to control these smart switches through the app either on Wemo or TP-Link. And once connected, you can turn on and off your smart light switches via the app, and you can also set schedules or timers for either one of these smart light switches. So I'm going to start with the Wemo smart light switches here, and we'll start with the on-off light switch. So this is the Wemo on-off light switch, and this does connect to Wi-Fi. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the back of the Wemo smart light switch because this is important for both Wemo or TP-Link smart Wi-Fi light switches. Both of them require a neutral wire, which is this white wire. Now, if you have a home built after 1980, you will most likely have a neutral wire in your switch box. But homes built before then, it's kind of hit or miss if you have a neutral wire in your switch box. Now, we've got a video that teaches you how to identify if you have a neutral wire in your switch box. But before you install or purchase either of these, you should know if you have a neutral wire, because if you don't, your system will not be compatible with Wemo or TP-Link. They both require it. So this Wemo on-off light switch does require that neutral wire, and you just press it to turn it on and off. And there's a little LED indicator here that lights up blue when the light switch is connected. Overall, it's a really clean design. There's no additional buttons on this, and you just press for on off, and then you can control it from the phone. Now, both Wemo and TP-Link do have three-way compatible switches that look just like this. So the Wemo three-way switch looks just like this. But if you want a three-way switch, you have to buy the Wemo switch that is specifically designated for three-way switch locations. And a three-way switch is a switch where you've got two switches that control one set of light fixtures, typically like you would find at the top and bottom of a stairs, where two light switches control that light over the stairs. So these are three-way compatible, the Wemo devices, if you get a Wemo three-way switch, which looks exactly like the on-off switch. Now let's go over here to the Wemo dimmer switch. So this also works on Wi-Fi. It works on the same app as this Wemo on-off switch. It does require a neutral wire. There is no three-way Wi-Fi dimmer for Wemo, and for that matter, there's no three-way Wi-Fi dimmer for TP-Link either, so you're the same there. Now, what's interesting about this, you just press on or off to turn on and off the switch, but then you can adjust the dimming functionality by sliding right here or tapping right here to get the dimming levels up or down, and it does have a built-in LED indicator for the current dimming level of the Wemo light switch. So that's the Wemo dimmer. Installs the exact same as the Wemo on-off switch. Now, once you've got the Wemo smart light switches set up and installed on the app, you can actually also connect them to Google Home and Alexa. So you can have Alexa voice command control of Wemo or Google Home voice control of Wemo. And you can also connect Wemo to HomeKit. So the TP-Link smart light switches, you can connect to Alexa and you can connect to Google Home for voice control, but they are not HomeKit compatible. So the Wemo smart light switches are HomeKit compatible. The TP-Link smart light switches are not HomeKit compatible. So what that means is that with Wemo, you can use Siri on HomeKit to control your smart light switches. You could use Alexa or Google to control your smart light switches. And on TP-Link, you're only going to be able to use either Alexa or Google to control your smart light switches. So if you want a HomeKit compatible switch, the Wemo is the way to go. Now let's go over to the TP-Link smart light switches. We've got the standard on-off light switch here, and we'll just go to the back. This also does require a neutral wire. Now, one difference that makes TP-Link a little bit easier to install than the Wemo light switches is that the load wire and hot wire are reversible. So if you don't know which one is your hot wire and you don't know which one is your load wire, it doesn't matter as long as you get one on the hot and one on the load wire. So it makes it a little bit more foolproof with the TP-Link smart light switch installation for that on-off switch. And to turn on and off the TP-Link light switch, you just press down at the bottom and that light switch turns on or off. Now the TP-Link smart dimmer is right here. And this operates a little bit differently than the Wemo smart light switch dimmer. On off right here, it'll go to whatever your current dimming level is. And up at the top here, you have dimming adjustment. So you can adjust the lighting levels by pressing down here or up here. Now, this also does install a little bit differently. It does have terminals on the side versus the wires. For most people, that's not going to be a big deal. I would say the installation of these is all pretty similar. If you're going to be able to do one type of them, you'll be able to do the other one. So from a standpoint of installation, they're all pretty similar. They do all require neutral wire. This TP-Link on-off light switch is maybe a little bit easier because you can reverse that hot or load without any serious issues. Now, on the dimming of the Wemo and the TP-Link smart light switch, this is a very obvious control interface to turn up or down the dimming. You just press right here for up and over here for down. With the Wemo over here, the dimming adjustment is a little bit different, and it's just something to get used to because it's not, let's say, a standard of a control interface as the TP-Link light switch. On the apps of both of these smart light switches, they're pretty much like 95% the same in terms of controllability. Personally, I feel like the TP app smart light switch interface is a little bit cleaner than the Wemo and runs maybe a little bit smoother than the Wemo app, but it's a very marginal difference. These pretty much do the same things on the app where you can control the light switch or set up schedules or timers for the smart light switches or the smart dimmers. Now, one exception to that I have noticed is that it is a little bit easier to get TP-Link connected to Wi-Fi routers. I've had less issues getting TP-Link connected to Wi-Fi routers than I have getting Wemo devices connected to Wi-Fi routers. And the reason for this is because Wemo light switches are a little bit more particular about connecting only to a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi network. So smart light switches and a lot of smart devices are designed to connect to 2.4 gigahertz, and Wemo falls under that. So if you have a 5 gigahertz router, I've got an Eero router, it didn't want to connect to the combo 5 gigahertz and 2.4 gigahertz router. It only would connect to that 2.4 gigahertz network. So I disabled the 5 gigahertz network for a little bit, and then the Wemo was able to connect. But with the TP-Link switch, I didn't have to do that. It automatically found the right network to connect to. So in setup and Wi-Fi connectivity, the TP-Link smart light switch was a little bit easier to set up. And I will say the Wemo, it was fine once I got it connected, but it did take a little bit of troubleshooting, and it was kind of frustrating for a few minutes trying to figure out what was going on and why it wouldn't connect to my Wi-Fi network. But once I did, wasn't a big deal. Wemo connected and was able to work on the app without any issues after that. So overall, these are very similar light switches. Main difference is that you get HomeKit compatibility over here, and you get Alexa and Google Home. Over here, no HomeKit compatibility, but you do get Google Home and Alexa compatibility with the TP-Link Smart Wi-Fi light switch. They both require neutral wires. They both have a 3-way switch option on off that looks like these two switches right here, but you have to purchase that 3-way switch specifically for either manufacturer. The dimming level adjustment's a little bit different on here than the TP-Link, but here is a big difference between the two of these that I have noticed. I have been able to find TP-Link, both smart on-off and smart dimmer light switches, for about 50% of the price of Wemo smart light switches sometimes. Either one. So I've been able to find these for almost half the cost as the Wemo smart light switches. Now, there's all kinds of different sales and promotions that get run, but for the most part, that has held true through the summer and fall of 2020. So maybe those prices will adjust as we get closer to the holidays or as time goes on. But the TP-Link light switches do offer a very value-oriented option for getting a lot of smart light switches installed if you are planning on doing your whole home. So let's say you've got 20 light switches or 30 light switches. You could come up with a big savings with the TP-Link smart light switches over the Wemo light switches if that was something that you were trying to do. Now, when we compare TP-Link versus Wemo, both are good smart light switches that will work in your home, but it really just comes down to what looks do you like? Do you want that HomeKit compatibility and that interface for the devices, and ultimately cost if you are on a budget for installing TP-Link versus Wemo smart light switches. So thank you for watching this video. Please give us that thumbs up, subscribe, and click any of the links below if you want to support us.